Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another evening with Neckbeard stories. We're gonna read some fine works. I know you're excited. I certainly am. Let's do this. From Reddit user Duke Atlas. This is a tale of necks and beards, eternally retold. That was magical. Seems I knew way more about neckbeards growing up than I thought, because holy fucking shit. Looking back, I'm shocked I didn't go full neckbeard myself. But this is a story all about a guy we shall refer to as Yiffbeard. I'm already excited. For reasons. See, these weirdos all have to have names, so... Yiffbeard was not only my brother's best friend, but my best friend's older brother, so... I got to spend way more time with him than I wanted. Like most neckbeards, Yiffbeard was rude, fat, gross, smelled like a rotten cottage cheese and old gym socks. Did the fusion dance. I don't know what a fusion dance is, but the combination of rotting I keep trying to say rotting cabbage. Rotten cottage cheese and old gym socks. There we go. I'm fucking doing it. I got it. And he was weird. His voice would always crack. He's 17. Should have been well beyond the pubescent voice crack thing. And whenever my brother and I came over to play games, typically weekend-long sessions of Super Smash Bros., which would often leave me smelling less than stellar, Smash makes you incapable of bathing. He would always throw a tantrum following a loss, especially against me, as I fucking practiced Super Smash Bros. Like it was my life, because, well, at the time it kind of was. But this particularly bad freakout came during a match of Soul Calibur 2. You see, I was a fucking champ in SC2. In high school, I even rocked some of the local circuits in London. Yiffbeard and I started off with a friendly match. I won. He was fine. It was 2 out of 3 anyways. He picked... Oh, Keelik. I remember Soul Calibur 2. I took up Link. Oh, that's right, because they did that in the GameCube version. I forgot about that. I made him in the GameCube version, but I mainly played as Talim and Ivy. It's been a long time since I played that game. Second match has him picking Maxi. I stick with Link. We spent that match with him on the offensive and me constantly using guard impacts and countering him. The entire match. He clipped me a few times with a kick here and there, but it was incredibly one-sided. He's not visibly annoyed. He's gripping his controller tight, clenching his teeth, and he looks at me and says, "You cheated! I want a rematch!" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not? I got time." Same results. Every time. Eventually, Yiffbeard tosses his controller. This act causes his GameCube to come off the shelf, hit the ground. The lid opens, game flies out. Yiffbeard is absolutely peeved. And I sat there in awe that this guy, who was quite a bit older than me, would act like this. It was nothing new, but it was probably the biggest freak out I've ever seen him have. Now, why do I call him Yiffbeard? I was really hoping you'd address that, actually. Well, he introduced me to the furry community. He also pushed me away from the furry community. Oh, he's one of those. At first, it seemed like a cool group of folks who liked drawing, and that was neat. I sucked at drawing, but I can always appreciate talented artists. This guy once gave me a DVD full of furry porn, well, to my brother, and by gave, I mean, of course, slipped into his bag without his knowing, and it wasn't the normal stuff, or normal by furry standards, I mean. It's all vor inflation stuff like that. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. Worst part was, this guy both tried to nice guy my sister and my brother's girlfriend. He had a giant box of dildos under his bed. Oh, this just keeps getting better. He once slapped me in the face with one before his younger brother snatched it from his hand, slapped him back with it, and stuck it in his mouth while he was in awe. He was once caught by his dad trying to flush a cucumber down the toilet after having shoved it up his ass. Classy. He later remarked, "Thank God he never found out about the corn." Well, let's, I know, On the end of these, I usually say something about furries or see, that's a slip of the tongue. I usually say something about neckbeards, but in this case I have to explain a few things, because I'm getting the distinct impression from some of you, considering some of the other videos I posted, you don't know what some of these things are, and, well, Uncle Moonhorse is going to have to explain them. You see, when a community gets just so big, it starts to branch in ways that sometimes aren't good. The furry community has kind of done that several times, from what I can tell. I'm an observer. I don't get involved. Much like the people who observe Christian, I do the same thing with this community. I don't want to be involved. I'll just watch you from a distance while you burn everything you own. It's quite entertaining. So, a couple of these things, yeah, there's some stuff that needs to be explained. Well, okay, vor is pretty much what you think it is. It's pretty self-definitive. There are people who gain a shockingly intense amount of pleasure from the idea of being consumed while alive and somehow surviving this process, and this is a very sexual experience for them. I personally don't know how, but yeah, it is, and I've witnessed it unintentionally several times. The worst part is always the unintentional witnessing. When you're intentionally looking for weird shit, you're prepared for weird shit, but it's when it sneaks up on you that you're just not ready for. You just don't. Oh, it tends to grab you, and then you're just like, why in the actual fuck does this exist? So, let's go on to the next one. This video, I'm realizing, is getting stretched out just by me having to explain this in the most awkward and horrific fashion ever. Well, it also is exactly what it sounds like. Inflation. And I don't mean the monetary kind. There are, and it's not just the furry community, but there does seem to be a large portion who are very much into this. I'm prefacing. There are people who are really, really into the idea of being blown up like a balloon. I don't know why. If that's your thing, that's fine, but I will never claim to understand why you're doing it. And yeah, there's a large amount of let's just call it material, because I don't really know. Much like dark matter, it doesn't have a definition per se, because it keeps changing, and the people who make it keep changing, and I have unintentionally witnessed far more of this than I should have, much like the other, and it scars me even to this day. Do you ever wonder why I drink? It's shit like this. It's shit like this. And now I have to explain it to some of you who really don't know these things, and the reason I'm explaining this, and I know this seems weird, it's like, Moonhorse, why would you explain all of this? To save you from Googling it. Because you really don't want to Google it. It's not that you won't find a definition, you absolutely will. You'll just find everything else attached to that definition, and you really don't want that. This is weird. I promise you that. This is weird. This is not as deep as the rabbit hole goes. There are far, far stranger, more horrific things lurking in the deepest parts of the Underdark, dear children. I would never bring you down there, unless, you really want me to, and even then, I warn you, It is not a trip a mortal man takes lightly. Hell itself knows not the madness that lurks within the depths of the internet. But on that note, we should end this video before things get even weirder. So thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this half story, half definition. Oh, and for those of you who didn't catch it, or maybe this guy didn't, well, he didn't really explain it. I should go ahead and just explain it. He calls him Yiffbeard. What is a yiff? It means to fuck. It's furry lingo for fucking. That's about it. It's a lot less exciting than it sounds. It's a lot less amazing. You'd expect more whenever you come up with your own lingo. Yeah, it's not. It's just that. There will be people who tell you there's more to it. It's not. It's just that. Anywho, I'm going to go ahead and read more Neckbeard stories because this is what I'm doing with my life, and I love you all. So, goodbye. That was not the stop button. Okay, I found it now. Goodbye.